Oh no, we're high tech. Hi everybody, welcome to FightNet Radio. Lee Honish. I am your host, Andrew Labouche, the longest standing member who can tolerate me the most, and Miguel Antonio Barragon, because he has no better option, to be perfectly honest. Welcome to 2023. Welcome to another season of FightNet Radio. We're back from our vacation. We've had a couple of weeks off, and apparently everybody has reverted to the 90s and started smoking crack in boxing. The shit people have said over the past couple of weeks is astonishing. In fact, some of it is so outlandish, there aren't even stories about some of the comments some of these a-holes have said over the past couple of weeks. Because there's been no boxing, apparently that's been an opportunity for people within boxing to make the most outlandish claims. And today's show is dedicated to those crack smokers. And we're going to cover every single crack smoking story that's out there. First, let's check in. Andrew, how was the holiday?
Everything was good, Lee. Yeah, had a nice holiday this year.
Outstanding. Miguel, how was your holiday?
It was good. It was quiet, just the fam. Went out here and there, but hosted some dinners. We don't have that big of a family. It's pretty small, but whatever members of the family we had them in the house.
That's very nice. I went for a scooter ride on the Wednesday before Christmas, went over the handlebars, hit my head on the corner of a brick wall, and woke up Sunday morning, Christmas morning at 3 a.m. with no memory of the previous 4 days. Yay! Happy holidays. Those
helmets are cool, Lee.
Those concussions are working out really well for me.
You're like a Showtime or HBO series, Lee. Your life.
No kidding. So I came out here to Southern California to visit my mom. The first thing, my sister picks me up, drops me off. I tell her the story. Within an hour, no joke, I don't even know where you find this. Within an hour, she's back with a bike helmet. It's actually a skateboard helmet. I've actually gone out twice. I can't wear the helmet. It messes up my hair. And that's funny.
What's going on? Wait a minute. See, that's one of these, I guess you want to know how I got here moments. I'm telling you, where the hell did that come from? What's going Is there something going on?
Okay, so I go through the Christmas thing. I decide because Lori's got family in town and I don't really have anything going on. I'm going to go out and see my mom. So I come out to LA just prior to New Year's to visit my mom. I am officially a short order cook for her. If you don't know the history or the recordings of the show, my mom has gone through multiple illnesses. And so it's my pleasure to be here and take care of her and her rowdy dogs, if you hear them in the background. But I literally got here. I tell my sister the story. She came back with a bike, literally a skateboard helmet within the hour. I brought my scooter out here. I've actually been down the hill a couple of times. She lives up on a hill. It's not bad. I haven't worn the helmet, Andrew. Haven't worn the helmet.
I was wondering what the hell's going on.
Please. I'm going to put flowers in it.
I didn't remember Christmas, and now I have a helmet on you. I'm like, what? I connected to. I don't know the connection, Lee.
Let me tell you how freaky it is to wake up at 3 a.m. on Sunday morning on Christmas and think, holy crap, I missed Christmas. Didn't realize that it was the Sunday morning before Christmas at 3 a.m. But yeah, I lost 4 days. It was kind of spectacular in a strange way.
Yeah. I guess I'm going to ask you again off of the air.
No, that's a very real story of what happened. It literally was, I knocked myself out. I was out on the scooter. I knocked myself out. I kind of have memories of going back. I remember laying down. The next thing I know, it's Sunday morning. Yeah. My plans of joining the PFL to fight Jake Paul are not looking really good at this moment. I don't think I'm going to get medically cleared. I'm just going to be perfectly honest.
He's not gonna be happy about this story, bro.
You know, Jake's been waiting for this episode because I know he joined PFL among the crack smoking stories of the day. And I guess we can start right there. Jake Paul and the PFL and Tommy Fury. And if he's not going to fight Tommy Fury, I get it, but I don't get it. Is he actually going to grapple Miguel? Can you tell?
From what I've read, it sounds like it. At least that's what they're implying. They haven't actually come out and explicitly said it. Keep in mind that PFL doesn't actually, promote any other kind of fighting, any other kind of combat sport. They don't have grappling events. They don't have kickboxing the way Bellator does or ONE FC do. They do those kinds of other combat sports, even in the cage. PFL, as far as I'm aware, does not do that. So at least that's what they're trying to imply. If they haven't actually explicitly said it, but at least that's what I'm understanding, because there have been a whole bunch of course, UFC has-beens coming out of the woodwork saying like, hey, let me be your first opponent. Let me be your first opponent. Again, naturally smaller guys, but it's a different environment, so who the fuck knows? But to answer your question, it does seem as though that is what they're implying. He is going to be in a mixed martial arts bout, as far as I understand.
I'm back in the running. I'm back in the running.
Not after Christmas. No, I would say no.
But you say no?
Yeah.
Isn't PFL the one that was running out of the Rio for a period of time?
It was World Series of Fighting out of.
Oh, that was World Series of Fighting. Okay.
But it's the same company. They basically just sold it over, rebranded it, and then.
Right. It's the same guy. It's the
Yeah.
I know him. He's on my cell phone. You just drop him a call, Andrew. I'm feeling this.
Hey, look, if you're the MMA world, you got to be a little excited about Jake Paul getting brave now. Look, he's had a lot of success against the MMA fighters in the boxing ring. He's starting to get a little brave, right? I want to say, I know you probably will bring it up. I know he challenged, what was it, Nate Diaz or?
Yeah. He's all over Nate Diaz. That's the first level of crack for this story. There's two layers of it. The first one is Tommy Fury, and I'll fight him for free. I'll fight him in England. Then the second level of crack smoking, which apparently I would say probably 48 hours into smoking the crack, he decided, I'm going to call out Nate Diaz now that I'm grappling. You're out of your fucking mind, bro. You're out of your mind. I wouldn't want to see him in an alley. I mean, let alone somewhere where he's a black belt.
He just has to get him into a contract that he can't get out of, right? And then play it however Paul wants to do it. If he wants to go boxing first and then the octagon after, that's fine. I have faith that Nate Diaz can beat him in both. If I'm Nate, I'm just trying to get into a contract that he can't get out of. So, because you could whoop his ass twice and put an end to this for good. The whole MMA world, you guys agree that Nate Diaz is the guy that would have the whole MMA world on his back? Would you guys be
Plus, they all like him. You know what? Whether or not people say it, they like Nate and Nick because they're just no bullshit guys.
Yeah. And they can fight, right? They know
they can bang. They can take a punch.
Yeah.
They really can.
So it's like, come on, this guy is still a YouTuber. I know he has practice. I know, the last few years and blah, blah, blah. These guys are fighters for life versus a guy who took up fighting fucking 4 years ago.
Yeah, no, these are, for those of you who don't know, they're Stockton bred. And Andrew and I can attest. Guys out of Stockton, you don't fuck with them.
Different. Yeah, they're
different. They're just different. They didn't get enough water or sunlight. I don't know what happened to them. I once watched a Raider game in Stockton. It is the quietest I ever sat in a Chili's in my entire life and didn't say a word because it was a room full of Stockton Raider fans, that's a pretty violent environment, Andrew. That is not a place to be a Charger fan.
No, I hear you.
All right.
So,
that is a high level of crack smoking if he thinks he can handle Nate. I mean, that is really, correct me if I'm wrong, Miguel. I know you don't. None of us on the show have smoked crack. We're just alleging. I would say that's at least 48 hours straight of crack smoking. If
Yep,
he's
like
if
not
if
even
you
sleeping.
think you can grapple with Nate Diaz, like there is no delusional state where that sounds like a good plan.
Right. Now, keep in mind, he is they're going that route for a couple of reasons, right? Obviously, number one, because of the name, but secondly, Nate is naturally a smaller dude, of course, so he's going to have some sort of advantage, at least in the size department. Beyond that, I don't see any other advantages. So I'm sure, Jake Paul is going to have some sort of clause in those kinds of contracts to make sure that he has as much advantage as he possibly can. Oh, furthermore, I believe you may call this a conflict of interest, but I think he actually has some sort of stake or shares of the company as well. He has invested into PFL well, so he's also involved,
including
outside
XPF. Shouldn't Jake Paul be in jail for crypto, or is it his brother? I can't. A Paul. Let's just call him A Paul.
A Paul. Yeah, just like A Charlo. It's A Paul.
A Charlo. A Paul. I'm done with the twins. I'm done. It's like saying JJ Watt. It's A Watt on the field. It's A Bosa on the field. I'm done with it. I'm not trying to learn everyone's name and get it right. I'm just not.
If I'm the UFC, if I'm the UFC, and I only say that because I'm expecting Dana White to step down here soon. If I'm the UFC, I'm somehow going to try to get my name attached to this fight or involved in this fight. Look, I believe it's going to be one of the biggest grossing fights of all time if they can get these two in the octagon, Diaz and Jake Paul. Seriously. The YouTubers are all going to buy it. All these YouTubers know this MMA shit. They all know the UFC. It's not it's not beat around the bush here. Then you're going to have your boxing world that's involved that all know the Diaz brothers. They're all down with them. Like Lee said, they love
them. They'd all march them out to the ring. Camp. There'd be like 40 guys, including John Jones, who nobody's seen for the last 18 months.
If Paul was to somehow get it done, Diaz slips and hurts himself walking in. If it happens, that leads into the biggest fight UFC's ever put in, would be Paul versus whoever the fuck Paul wants to fight in the UFC. Now we're talking, they have to get, if I'm them, I back myself, right? You got to be involved in this fight because I think it is going to be huge if they get it off. That's why he's doing it. Tommy Fury does not make Nate Diaz money. He doesn't. I know boxing's big. When you get to the big level in boxing, yes, you still make a lot more money than in the UFC.
They'd sell out the O2 Arena.
Tommy Fury's not that special. He really isn't.
Yeah, but Tyson will show up. The dad will show up. There'll be Ferris wheels and carnivals.
Hey, Lee, you remember Bobby? Hey, Miguel. You guys remember Bobby Pacquiao?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Manny's brother. There was at no point. Manny was one of the best fighters in the world. In all of Asia, he was the best. There was never a time where you would be like, "Oh, I think Bobby can sell out an arena. I think Bobby will do just as good as it." Just because they're related doesn't mean the fans are going to show up. And I think that run, Tommy looked so bad during his fights. If you really follow the whole story between Tommy and Paul, he has a lot more people clowning him than he did supporting him. You're a joke. You're a model. You're getting this because of your brother. There was a lot of that going on when those two would go back and forth on social media. So I don't think that fight creates, because he's unknown in America. Nobody knows who the fuck Tommy Fury. No casual fan is buying the Tommy Fury Jake Paul fight. You would have to go, if you put Nate Diaz and Jake Paul in the boxing ring, it's still going to do good. But if they can somehow get that into the octagon, no, I think it breaks records.
Yeah. Well, let's continue on that vein of crack smokers, because you brought up a name that should be discussed, and I made a post about it. You missed out on this, Andrew, and I wanted to say thank you to everybody. Follow us at FightNet Radio on both Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Every time we post now, it's seen by over 50,000 people. Our goal is 100,000 people within the next month and 1 million by the end of the year. And I appreciate everybody over the holidays who tweeted, reshared everything that I put up throughout the holidays. Let's talk about another crack smoker, shall we? Dana White.
Yeah.
I love this meme. All right,
Uh,
Dana, let's take a look at the big screen. Earlier in the first round, she clipped you with a right hook. How bad were you hurt? All right, let's talk about Dana White and his crack smoking adventures. Andrew, you made a comment that you think he'll have to step down. They've delayed the slap league, which, by the way, slap fighting is awesome. I wish I don't think I have a big enough slap to compete. I know I can take the slap and the hit. I don't think, well, all right. Prior to Christmas, I knew I could take that hit. I was into I'm into the slap fight lead, which had a deal with USA Network. They're pushing it back. Andrew, do you really think they're going to drop Dana?
Yes, I believe they have to. There's not too many CEOs, Lee, that can get caught on camera doing something like this and get away with it, continue to keep their job. I think, yes, see, he's lost all credibility. How could he ever come out and be against domestic violence, the stance that he's had before in the past, the same and really, let me start off by saying whoever has made this film shorter to where it only shows Dana slapping his wife one time, you're a fucking punk to the system. You're a bitch to the UFC or to Dana White. I don't know who it is, but you're a coward. Dana White does not just hit his wife one time and then that goes away. He hits her twice. She looks like she comes back at him. And then they have another altercation that I really can't go see what happens, but you can tell they kind of get into it a third time. It might be just the wife attacking him. I really don't know. But the guys that are just making this a one hit and done, she hit him, he hit her, ha ha ha, you're a fucking joke. Anyways, to Dana White, no, you have to step down. It's over. Sorry, your run is done. You don't slap your wife twice in public like that. You're this big buff dude that runs a fucking combat organization. I mean, you can't get caught on film doing that. He should have laughed his wife's thing off.
Yeah, you have to. Look, you have to. Andrew and I have more experience with this than you, Miguel. Let me explain. When you're in a relationship, and clearly not Dana's relationship, and you've got a crazy woman on your hands, and she slaps you, you take it, you smile, it's time to go home. That's it.
Yeah.
Been there, done it, seen the show. Been in multiple relationships, Andrew. I've dated enough crazy to know that when they're that crazy, okay, time to go home. You don't respond because here's the truth. Andrew and I both know this. The minute Andrew goes to sleep, if he made the mistake of retaliating, I know this about Chris. She would cut your heart out while you slept. She would cut your twice.
Miguel,
she would shoot you dead in your bed and stand there and call 911 cold.
There might have been a time where I went to a family gathering with the claw marks across my face. I'm just saying there might have been a time. There was still no retaliation.
I can safely say that in the Diana era with me, there's a New Year's party that we went to, an open bar where I literally dragged her by the foot to put her in the bedroom because she had passed out on the floor, and then she reached up and cracked me. I'm like, whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, no, Lee, come on. You remember when your mom used to strike you, dude? And
I actually laughed when my mom used to hit me.
And then I was a boxer, right? So I would catch both of my mom's hands. Bah, you can't do it with that wrist. Bah, bah, can't do it.
And then the funniest line of all time to my mom was, she goes, "Do you want me to hit you again?" I go, "Please don't. It's funny already."
This dude gets smacked in his face and returns with the two-piece. Here, come on, you got to go. It's over. It's fucking over. I don't know how the UFC, I don't know who they're going to get to replace him. I know Dana was, a significant part of the UFC, but if they allow him to stay elite, it's a fucking joke. It's every, what do they say? White guys don't ever get in trouble.
Trevor Bauer and everybody else in
white
sports.
privilege.
There you go, bro.
Way white privilege. It's Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Hold on. First of all, this is Las Vegas, where your second fatal DUI crash is when you lose your license. I'm not joking about that, Andrew. I watch the news. People with DUIs in Vegas need to have at least 2 or 3 fatalities before they actually wind up behind bars. And tough town, man. Tough town. My mom was asking me about it, Miguel. She's like, "What's it like?" I go, "It's the Wild West." There's no law in this town. All right. Well, that leads us to Captain Implant, Oscar De La Hoya.
That's Miguel.
Oh, Miguel. Miguel, do you think he's going to wind up stepping down as CEO, or do you think he's just going to blow it off? Because that's what he's doing right now on social media.
Yeah. Well, that's what everybody's doing.
He's back to Fuck It Fridays and doing bologna pie and all this other shit. He's just ignoring it.
Yeah, and I mean the reality is that a lot of people are actually ignoring it, because there's this dude, Luke Thompson. He's a journalist for MMA, and he was doing like the pre-fight show at for the the Tank Davis pay-per-view last night. The guy is known primarily for MMA stuff, but he's in the Showtime boxing as well. He came out with this great video on his Instagram talking about how nobody is saying anything. Like there's nothing, no reprimand.
They're afraid of Dana.
Nothing.
They're afraid of him.
But not just people. I mean, by the way, it was TBS who has delayed the with the slap fighting thing, but nonetheless, like nobody's saying anything. That's kind of the thing. Like I know the guy's a powerful guy, of course he is, right? The guy's from fucking Boston or something, so I'm sure he's involved in something else. But like I have to assume that something is going to happen, but the fact that they're not addressing that at all is kind of crazy. That I'm not sure if it has anything to do with it, but as far as I recall, after the incident, his wife came out and said like, "Oh, this is unlike him. We've been married for a long time, yada yada." And she didn't.
30 years. 30 years, and apparently you're allowed to crack your wife after 30 years.
And she didn't like press any charges or anything like that. I don't know if the fact that the cops were not involved, like period, there were no charges or anything like that. I don't know if that has anything to do with the fact that nobody has said shit, like TBS has said anything.
Didn't Gervonta do less? I mean,
well, his wife went apeshit. She's like,
she recanted. She totally recanted the story,
but she initially went in that
direction. It's not on film.
It's not on film, but apparently he didn't crack nearly like Dana.
No. And I mean, Dana, like really, like you look at her and you look at him, you know damn well that he can grab her fucking wrist and be like, "Bitch, calm the fuck down," right? Not slap her twice or however many times it was. Now,
that's
granted, he didn't exactly go
with crazy women.
Go full power and like fucking power hand the shit out of her. Obviously, he had to like check her because she was in the fucking mood.
No, she went full Karen mode.
Yeah, it didn't help that I'm sure they were at a club and there was alcohol involved.
And there was crack.
So it cracked, yeah, exactly. That's not gonna lead to the best logical, decision making at a time where things got heated, obviously. So things got out of hand and people saw it. But as far as I understand, no cops were involved. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with the fact that nothing has happened to Dana yet.
What would it take to get an assault charge in Vegas? And this is a real thing. What would it take to get a real assault charge in Vegas?
I'm not even, that's his own. I'm talking about, this isn't going away as far as sponsorships keeps getting this video played on their pages. How can you talk about you're against domestic violence?
Yeah, but if he makes the John Jones fight, he'll be forgiven.
He slaps her twice, bro. He hits that girl twice, or his wife, excuse me, that lady. He hits her twice.
And again, if that was my daughter, Dana would be dead. Yes, I agree.
On film. So as a sponsor, if my company has come out against domestic violence and we're posting commercials and we're standing with the NFL and we're doing all these other things, Reebok, Nike, and all these other guys that go on these platforms, how the hell can you then turn around and shake hands with Dana White, who's got this video is not going away? It's not. I don't care about charges.
Okay, hold on. There's a sub-level to this that you don't know about because you don't follow MMA. But Phil Baroni, a week ago in Mexico, killed his girlfriend, former UFC fighter. And it was another domestic situation. So this is not looking good for Dana, Miguel.
It's not.
No, I know,
Oh,
but
the
that's
Baroni
my
thing.
thinking.
The Baroni thing. Now you
Uh,
got Dana. You got Gervonta. Not looking good for people.
no, and I don't like my only thing is I'm thinking the fact that there weren't charges is the only reason why he won't step down. Why? I mean, if there was, I think he'd have no choice. But that, that's why nobody else is really saying anything. TBS and the people who are sponsoring, they're not gonna come out and say shit because it didn't go beyond, charges, or not even that. That's my only, I guess, suspicion really, is the fact that it hasn't gone to that degree, because really nobody has said anything, not even TBS. I mean, I guess, a little bit of a slap of a wrist for delaying his fucking show on TV, which ain't
That's
really
it.
shit, for the
That's
reality.
the worst of
But
this.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, the only logical, to put two and two together. The fact that it didn't get to that point of charges is why he's not going to step down, why he's not going to be forced to step down, why sponsors aren't going to be like, all right, yeah, they're just going to literally sweep it under the rug, really.
I'm not saying he should wind up in a Mexican cell next to
Right,
Baroni.
right.
However,
but there's going to be consequences. The point.
there won't be,
No,
because
yeah.
hey
I don't think
guys,
so either. Yeah.
here's a fistful of tickets to the Performance Center.
Then this would never leave any conspiracy theorists, and there's a lot of them, would never leave this alone. You guys, there's a video of him smacking her. This isn't just
but
phone
he
call.
owns the league. He owns.
No, he doesn't.
Well,
No,
he
does
doesn't
not
technically
own
own
the
it.
whole-
He's the CEO now. But
Yeah.
the reality is very
the video
simple.
is not going away, and I'm telling you right now, when the sponsors when it gets put on them, how can you say you're against domestic and you have a guy like this that you're backing? They're gonna press the UFC to make it. He's gonna be hurting all of their money, and Dana White is big enough where. How long ago did this happen? Was it a week ago? Was it 2 weeks ago?
It was New Year's Eve.
I think it was New Year's Eve. Yeah.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
All right, so this thing is very new still. We got to see what happens. We haven't even seen a big UFC card with Dana White trying to be. I mean, seriously, can he really be intoxicated on camera anymore? Can he even be a douchebag anymore without everyone going, "Yeah, did you see him hit his fucking wife? Oh yeah, watch this. Oh no, Google it. Google him hitting his wife, bro. You haven't seen it? He hit his wife on New Year's. They haven't even gotten through that phase yet. I'm sorry.
Here's the problem.
Wait a minute, Lee. Wait.
All right.
Any fighter that's been against domestic violence, UFC fighter that comes out and is like, "You're a fucking coward if you ever put hands on a girl," how are they supposed to look at Dana White and talk to him now? One, he's a pretend tough guy. He acts like he's tough. He talks about being tough, yet he was challenged multiple times to fight. He never does. So he acts like a tough guy. Now you're hitting women, and some of these men in your sport are totally against that. They come out and speak publicly against that. How do you get past all this? I don't see it happening. That is some major white privilege if Dana White gets away with slapping her chest, and we all like Lee.
Look at the heat. Look at the heat
That's
in the stories on Gervonta Davis.
That's a joke.
Wait, Gervonta Davis has no video, right? Zero video, right?
Zero video, bro.
Zero video. It's a domestic altercation. Nobody knows what happens. This guy, they're tracking him like he's a fucking elusive unicorn in the wilderness to see what he reports in Florida to the judge. Dana, there's no word, and I'll tell you exactly why. One name, and tell me I'm wrong, Miguel. Ariel Helwani. Tell me I'm wrong.
No. I mean, he basically laid it out. He had a retaliation video for all the times that Dana has called him a scumbag and all this other shit about being this and this and that. And he's like, he basically was telling Ariel Helwani is like, all the shit that you make up in your fucking journalism, how the fuck your kids are gonna look at you, how your kids are gonna be. And Ariel basically threw that shit back in his face. Like, remember when you told me that, you son of a bitch? How are your kids gonna look at that, you asshole? So yeah, Ariel Helwani basically like retaliated hardcore online.
The most woke people in America is the white people, they say, right? That's always the Karens of the world, and a lot of Karens, their husbands are watching the UFC. I don't think
marry. You know what, Andrew? I need you to break up and marry a Karen, so you know how fucking crazy it is.
I don't think it's going away. I'm sorry.
Actually, I know this. Chris deep down has got a little bit of Karen in her. She's a Karen.
Every time they have a domestic violence case, here's Dana. well, I know both sides of the fence on this, you guys. Wait, is that really what he's gonna say?
No, wait. Let me do his press conference for War Machine. It went a little too far, just a little.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it went really far. It went a little far. Yeah, I get it. He beat the shit out. Went a little far. She was out of line. She needed correction.
I gotta hear all sides of the stories before I make judgment. Oh, there you go. Cool. There you go.
And the happiest person about this story, Andrew, the happiest person, by far, Captain Implant himself. Oscar, literally, Oscar woke up on New Year's and saw this on his Twitter feed and must have had the hardest nipples and hardest dick of his entire life. Oscar jumped on it so fast that it was actually shocking. And by the way, Oscar, shut up, bro. This is not a lane you want to be in. Listen, crack smoker, and not alleged, for sure. Mario Lopez doesn't even associate with Oscar anymore because Oscar's so far out in left field these days. Between the ab implants, jumping on, what is going on with Oscar, Miguel?
He seems to be going off the rails. He seems to be if he hasn't already, this is what it appears according to, and mind you, I don't think I would have even noticed because I've seen videos of him in the recently without his shirt, of course, on purpose, just hitting the bag or something like that, and I'm like, all right, cool, he's getting in shape. You see his shoulders and you're like, oh shit, this motherfucker.
I didn't even know ab implants were a thing.
Oh yeah, I see. Here's the thing, I don't know if it's that or he got one of those cool
or the painting, you painted
or the lipo where it takes out specific areas so you can look like you got a fucking six pack. So I don't know if that's what it is as well. Those cool sculpt or whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know if that's what it is or if because keep in mind the dude has had a legitimate six pack in the past, right? Obviously because he was a professional athlete. But now when you look at it, they look too perfect. They're just too asymmetrical. And you're like, wait just a second there. I don't know. So I don't know if he just got that lipo to kind of get the the fat out in certain areas, or the motherfucker went full fake fake natty and got himself some fucking things. Yeah. Did you see it, Andrew? Did you see the pictures?
Yeah, he went full Instagram model. That chick.
And I'm gonna attest to this. You guys all know this. When I went through I'm gonna be skinny and go down to 185, and I was getting the tan. Look, when you spray the tan and you drop the weight, you look like $1 million, bro. I hope
it's a tan. Lee, I really do. You guys put the tweet out, Miguel, I think you did yesterday, where he said they're implants. They look like implants. Yeah. It's really sad.
I would buy them. I got to be honest. When I go fight Jake Paul, I want the implants.
You didn't even know they were a thing.
I didn't know they were a thing until you guys talked about it.
There's a reason for that, though. That ain't our age bracket, bro. Guys our age aren't putting fucking fake abs in our stomach. What?
Look. I have already. I've been with fake boobs. I've been with a fake ass.
That is a woman. I am not talking about women. I am talking about men. You would lose credibility back in the day if you came back to the hood with some fake fucking abs. I'm sorry. You guys, what happened to our manhood, man? Oscar De La Hoya needs to stop hanging around with this fucking. If this Instagram model is gonna talk him into getting job procedures done on himself,
she's hot. She's hot, bro. She's hot.
Hey, I know, right?
She's hot.
He already climbed the mountain, though. He already climbed it. It's not as listen. He can move on. That man can move on to other mountaintops. We don't need to be doing. He's gonna look like Sylvester Stallone at the end of his life. He keeps down this path. What are you gonna have next? Fake calves put into the back? Oh yeah, look at my legs now. I'm sorry. What is going on? Bro, I hope Oscar. Seriously, you know what's scary is sometimes people with addictions. They'll substitute an addiction for another one and act like they're cured. Oh, look, I got over that. You didn't get over shit. If your new addiction now is going to have this kind of work done on you, this never ends well. for the person that's getting all this cosmetic work done. It never ends well. So
I feel like that message was for me.
yeah, I know you're in Southern California. You see it all around you.
What's Lee into this week? I don't know. I don't know if he's drinking. I don't know if he's into women. I don't know if he's buying fake abs. I don't know if he's shooting testosterone in his ass.
I'm in. Hey, listen, I work most of the time in San Francisco. I see the work. I see the after effects of this work that's done. It does not end well. The only thing I can think of, you guys, is that these people are getting it done so early that we don't know that the extra 10 years they put on was because of cosmetic work. And yeah, they already know 20 years down the line, they're going to look fucking freakish. They already know that. They
That's
don't
why
care
you need
because
stem cells, Andrew. I'm gonna help you out. Stem cells is where it's at. That's my next move.
But that's also where the addiction comes in, because 10 years down the line, they're going to do something different to fix what they fucking, what they fucked up before. Exactly. So it's just like if you look at certain people, like obviously, and a lot of the Hollywood people have gotten work done, but at some point you look at, I forgot what's that old.
Wait, let's go with something easy. Look at Lee a year ago, 2 years ago. Jeez. And then let's look at Lee last summer when he was shooting testosterone and clenbuterol into his ass. It works. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. As a personal user of those properties, I'm not going to lie. And not only that, you feel like you're 26. You want to go train. You want to go fight. We've got a story. One of the crack smokers is Sergio Martinez. Dude, what are you shooting? TRT into your ass? I mean, are you out of your fucking mind? You're 47 trying to go after a championship. That's
keep in mind,
insane.
That's like, artificial enhancement with drugs. We're talking about, fucking foreign objects into your body.
Yeah.
Well, I would totally do that. I just don't think it would look good on me. I just.
FYI, it doesn't look good on anybody. It's just like, oh, Jesus. Some of the shit is obvious fuck.
Oscar looks freakish.
Dude, if you don't know, Rob Van Dam, right? That wrestler. Right. So his girlfriend,
absolutely.
His girlfriend is like some sort of she's a wrestler as well. But dude, that bitch has got like ab implants as well. Like if you look at them, you're like, what the fuck is wrong? And at first I didn't know that there was even a thing until I saw this broad, fat ass, big titties, big fake titties, right? The typical. But dude, this girl looks horrendous with those fucking ab implants.
It's
like,
weird.
I didn't even know it was
it's weird. It's not Pearl. It's not
Sinisa.
It's not. It's gross.
Like, do they think they're gonna have a small stomach like forever? Like they're gonna start getting fat. They're gonna get love handles. How the fuck is it gonna look when you have love handles but still a six pack? Like that's ridiculous.
TRT. All right, Andrew. Andrew, for bonus points. What is Rob Van Dam's thumb to himself? Wait, let's see what he says, Miguel. I know you know. No. He's the whole effing show.
Yes.
And by the way, greatest tagline ever for a wrestler. The whole effing show. And by the way, he was. I'm a big Rob Van Dam guy. Let's move on to the next crack smoker because we have lots more. And the next one, Mauricio Suleiman. Congratulations. He's going to introduce a transgender boxing division.
Get out of here.
How much fucking crack do you have to smoke? I'm sorry. When I saw the story, I couldn't lay off of it. I don't know if you're trying to be woke or if you're with Chavez Jr. smoking crack. I mean, let's see what his comments are. We're going to put out a global call for those who are interested in 2023, and we will set up protocols, start consultations, and most likely create a league and a tournament. Jesus. It is time to do this. It's time to do it, Andrew. It's time to do it. We are woke. And we are doing this because of safety inclusion. We have been leaders in rules for women's boxing, so the dangers of men fighting women will never happen because of what we are going to put in place.
Oh, there you go.
So what you're going to do is have
No, well, listen,
I gotta be
wait a
honest.
minute, Lee,
I
wait a
would
minute,
watch
though.
this. I would watch this.
Nah, he's covering his tracks. Hey, there's nothing wrong with what he's making a make-believe division that's never going to be filled. So that one person out of 3 million can't affect the women's boxing by going.
It's
You
pretty
have to let
hardcore
them fight.
smoking crack, Andrew. Come on.
No. I see where, because of that statement, what you just said, Suleiman is almost helping the women fighters out. He's blocking anybody to ever take him to court and saying you're being discriminating towards me. I should be able to fight women. He's like, here's your own division. There's a problem. There's not enough of you to put on a real fighting thing. So sorry, but that's your division. If we get more fighters, that's where you guys are fighting at. Cool. Talk to you later.
All right.
We haven't seen a push for transgender athletes in boxing. I haven't seen nobody come out, a petition, nothing saying, hey, we have 700 fighters ready to start a league. You need to let us into women's. But I haven't seen anything like that. So he's just covering his tracks. He made a league. He made a division. If anybody comes out and says they want to fight and they're transgender, well, here's your transgender division. We'll see if we can match someone up with you. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
All right, Andrew. Will you still love me if I declare myself a woman and throw on a wig and fight in the league?
As long as you're not fighting women, you do whatever you want, bro. I'm not here to judge anybody.
Will you be in my corner?
Yeah, shit, Lee. That's one dude. Yeah, I'll support you, bro.
I finally found a league that will actually have FightNet Radio on a consistent basis. Miguel, I think this is hilarious. I do. I just do.
I mean, it is. What else can you do but laugh at some of this shit? I mean, really. When I first read the article, or at least like the title, I was like, what in the fuck is this guy thinking? But I mean, he's gone a little bit.
He's being woke. He's being right.
He's being inclusive. He's trying to, not leave anybody out and not hurt anybody's feelings. It's obvious that's the case, but I mean, really, like, we're basically having two former guys fight, pretty much.
Yes.
Then now, essentially,
it's guy versus guy, except we were
women.
Look, I got to get a wig because clearly I have no hair. I need a wig. Yeah. Lipstick's cheap.
Yeah, you can get one of those like padded fucking bra protectors the way that.
Yeah.
The whole spiel.
It's got to be bigger than my belly, right? So I've got to be at least a C cup.
Yeah. Hey, if you guys remember, the MMA world tried allowing a man fighting women, and then they got freaking.
Oh, they got ripped.
Yeah,
they got ripped.
Very hurting the girls, man.
It was very early on though. Like I don't think anybody knew quite like the science wasn't there yet. Like we didn't quite understand at the time.
No, it's not like swimming. It's not like so we saw it in swimming.
Yeah.
And then we saw it in running, right? Like I want to say it was running and swimming where
running too. Yeah. Dude,
that's where the transgender thing was. And shout out to Joe Rogan, who doesn't even know we exist, but Joe Rogan's right. Genetically, men are superior athletes. I mean,
you need Joe Rogan to tell you that, Lee. Are you serious right now? Come on, bro.
No, I knew that. I knew that.
Class told us that, man. Like, what the fuck?
No, but I think
I knew that the first time a woman hit me, Andrew, that men were superior athletes.
So Rogan, don't give him that much credit,
no.
Lee.
But I give Joe Rogan credit for actually saying it because nowadays everybody's even afraid to say that.
Yeah, and he took a lot of heat for it. He took a lot of heat for it.
So obviously we didn't need him to tell us that, but the fact that he spoke up and said and say, hold up, the bone density is different, the fucking heart is different,
this isn't tennis.
The lung capacity is different.
Yeah, this isn't tennis. This isn't squash. This isn't a skill game. This is physical activity.
Mm-hmm. Even one of the Williams sisters on camera saying that. She said she's played against the best men in the world. She's one of the best. Yeah. She's played against the best. She can't beat them. They hit faster.
Can't. They hit harder.
Okay, if you've ever been in a boxing gym, those women will right away tell you when they spar men, it's not the same. Like this is not. No, listen, that's why it was absurd. They even went down that road. He crushed a cheekbone of a woman. Okay, he crushed it. give Suleiman credit for blocking that court date, right? Because this would have gone to court. If you have a fighter that says, maybe he whacks his shit off, because I'm sorry, I don't think this is applying to women. I don't think that the women of the boxing world are going to be like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to get out of the women's league and fight in a league that's make-believe when everything...
Cyborg might. I got to be honest, Cyborg might.
Believe it. She's been fighting women her whole life. Why would she get out of that league? This was about men who are trying to cross over and dominate in the women's leagues. That's all this is about.
All right. For 2023, Miguel, you got to find out if there's a vagina.
Yeah, you got to give him credit. You got to give him credit. He blocked the date. He's not discriminating. He gave them his own. He's given them their own division. They've got their own feet.
We're gonna play ball. We're gonna be woke. I'm not gonna change the name because everybody is smoking crack this past couple of weeks. But all right, let's say Suleiman is woke. We'll see how this plays out. Let's move forward. Sergio Martinez. For those of you who know nothing about Maravilla and or my obsession with Maravilla, this is the guy who actually got a Netflix special to explain that Chavez Jr. got his belt way longer than he should. Now, over the last year, Sergio Martinez made a return to the ring. I'm going to get to the crack smoking part. And has won 5 fights against lesser opponents. Now let's get to the crack smoking part. He's ranked number 3, Miguel.
What?
In the WBA.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Are you who the fuck has he beaten? For
Nobody. And by the way, I don't think that knee has changed its condition either.
Oh man, major L for fucking the WBA.
Somebody's smoking crack. Somebody's asleep at the wheel here.
What is that? The president?
WBA at what is he? Middleweight.
Well, super middleweight at this point, or
he's got to be super middleweight.
I don't think he can make middleweight anymore. At least I don't think so.
It's got to be super. But whatever the case, how is this motherfucker ranked at number 3? I like Martinez. I think he deserves all the props. But Cotto put him to bed. I mean, that was the end of it. And then quietly, he, after like a 5-year hiatus, he just reappeared and started fighting on the club scene. And somehow he got re-ranked in the top 10.
I'm thinking the president of the WBA is he Argentine by chance, or where the fuck is he from? I know he's Latino, but I don't know where the fuck he's from. Like that's the only reason I could think that he fucking throw his ass on there, or is it some sort of World Cup? The fact that Argentina.
He's ranked number 2 by the WBA right now at middleweight.
They're hot. They're hot right now.
Dude, who is smoking crack at that place?
Jesus,
that's insane.
Wow. So they want to throw him in there against fucking Triple G
at 47. At 47, bro. At 47.
You're gonna have another Netflix series. He wins.
Well, yeah, no. Now you're totally the Rocky Balboa story for legit.
He's trying to be the oldest champion ever. I think he's gonna try to beat fucking Bernard if he actually does something, which. Oh gosh, I certainly hope he does it for his own damn. Because I mean, I haven't seen any of his fights. Have you guys seen his fights to see how slow he is?
No, none of them have been televised. I didn't even know he was back.
There's no way his legs are the same anymore. Because one of his major advantages is the fact that he moved around a fuck ton, right? And eventually that does go, especially when you're at an older age, right? But usually the last thing that a fighter loses is their power, but the reflexes go, their speed goes, their legs go first, right? How the hell is he gonna? You saw him; he was a sitting duck against Cotto because of his legs. You can't imagine it being any better now.
So right now he is ranked number 2 by the WBA.
He's ranked number 2 by the WBA.
He's for Gennady Golovkin and Islandi Lara. Pieces of that title.
Actually, I would be into a Triple G Sergio Martinez fight. I got to be honest. I'm into it. All right, so he lost to Cotto. He takes 6 years off.
Oh my God.
He beats nobody in.
I'm going to go get some coffee. I can't believe you just knocked that shit for 5 minutes, and now you're doing a dream matchup with the 47-year-old. I'm going to go get coffee.
Well, wait. All right, go ahead. Go get coffee. Miguel, tell me I'm crazy, but isn't Triple G like 47?
He's 40, I believe.
Why is this a bad fight?
Well, the fact that they're, considered elite at that weight class to hold world titles, I think is probably kind of like where the farce is. I mean, can we get Suleiman in this bitch and be like, all right, we're gonna have an executive division and just have old fuckers go at it just the way we had Roy Jones and Mike Tyson for fucking for fuck's sake. I don't know. Like, I don't. The fact that these dudes could potentially fight isn't that bad. The fact that they're fighting as like actual legitimate world champions
really
or some sort of.
Two. Jesus Christ.
Well, of course. I mean, I mean, who the fuck knows? But I mean, yes, of course. We all know, how corrupt these damn.
Above Ryota Murata. Above Chris Eubanks. Above.
Eubanks.
And I hate Danny Garcia. He's ranked above Danny Garcia.
How the fuck is that? Has Danny even fought at middleweight? What the fuck is this? How's he even ranked?
Who the hell cares? Shane Mosley Jr.
Wasn't he
What a messed up division. You know what? Let's check the IBO. IBO does it right.
Do they? I mean,
they do it by computer rankings.
I've heard, people run out of their fucking single, room apartments.
I like the computer rankings.
If I'm Jaime Munguia, I call in Sergio Martinez today. I'm just kidding.
Wow, what a bunch of fucking crack smokers today. Jesus Christ. All right, let's try to move forward. Floyd Mayweather signed another exhibition fight, this time in the UK. So it was Adrian Broner who outed him, saying he's not making singles of millions, or he's not making tens of millions, but he's making singles of millions, yada, yada, yada. All right. Does anybody have any clue why Floyd is now fighting every 3 months, other than possibly smoking crack? Andrew, what happened to Floyd?
We've said it, and it's already been rumored. You're starting to hear the rumors about taxes, Lee. He's keeping the feds off from the back taxes that he owes. I hope it's not true. Look, that you never want to hear an athlete who made almost $1 billion, if not $1 billion in his career, is going broke. And this is not a Rocky movie. This isn't make believe. That would be very
I gotta
sad.
be honest. I do with Floyd.
Hey, I understand that. Floyd has flashed money for so long in people's faces. There would be a lot of that, well, it's his fault kind of deal. It still doesn't take away to the sadness of someone who earned $1 billion losing it all because of foolishness. No, that would be, he would be another guy, even though these athletes do not learn. He would be another example on the wall of people you don't want to be like when you become rich, yet we seem to have these guys a lot do this to themselves. And so Floyd, Lee, you asked me, yes, I think he has money issues. I think he's milking. He was waiting for somebody to build the momentum to make a huge comeback, a Leonard Hagler type fight where he could come back after 5-6 years, just get a shot at the champion, make huge money, and then ride off into the sunset again. But nobody has done it. Canelo not only kept getting bigger, he keeps losing. Spence and Crawford can't fucking decide on fighting themselves. Manny lost. It's nobody has gained the momentum right now in their career to be anywhere near making Floyd $200 million in one night. So he can't come back.
Well, let's talk about it, and then I'll throw it over to Miguel, which takes us to our other crack smoker. Manny Pacquiao signs with Rizin, and he's going to do exhibitions almost indefinitely. And he has thrown it out there, Andrew, that he will fight anybody from Errol Spence to Terrence Crawford.
Maybe you know this, Miguel. If this is the company that Floyd has already worked with, then I'm totally with you, Lee, that they're going to try to do something. Unfortunately, and then I'm done. The league isn't big enough to where it's going to make a big splash here in America. Americans are going to take this as a second-hand fight. It won't be as big as the first one, and really, I think they're going to lose a lot of money because those guys they're going to come at a heavy price.
All right, Miguel, who's smoking more crack, Floyd or Manny?
Well, considering how quickly Floyd is burning through his money, it's probably him fucking spending all that money on crack. So yes, I'm gonna say probably Floyd in this case. Now, to piggyback off of what Andrew was saying, yes, this is the same company that Floyd has fought in before. Those exhibitions against that tiny Asian dude that were in this organization. Now, let's keep in mind this organization is pretty cool. They do have some pretty bomb ass fights. Yes, they do also host other kinds of fights. They do have kickboxing bouts in their their organization. So it's not just it's primarily MMA, but not just MMA. Furthermore, over the new year, or New Year's Eve specifically, this organization, Rizin, actually had a co-promotion event with the number 2 MMA organization in the world, or at least in the U.S., Bellator, and they had like 5 Bellator guys fight 5 Rizin guys,
crushed.
and they got creamed. Every fucking Bellator dude whooped the other fucking, and they were close fights, but nonetheless, it was a clean.
That was the New Year's show, right?
The New Year's show, exactly. So
the big one.
Exactly. So it doesn't look very good that now they're fucking. They have Manny Pacquiao here, an organization that just got totally smoked by a U.S. organization.
Wow.
But nonetheless, so yeah, so this sounds like Manny is maybe even debating doing an exhibition MMA fight for all we fucking know. So I don't know if they're gonna go to that degree or not. But nonetheless, yeah, I mean, I get where he should, yeah, exactly, and it's probably gonna make him some serious fucking money too. Because if you watch the show, the Japanese, they love pro wrestling. They love the pageantry, and they've done it with MMA events as well. They did it for this event, cool. So they're gonna try to get some sort of people, like a lot of people interested in Manny fighting whoever the fuck is gonna fight in Rizin. But yeah, it's looking like it's Floyd is gonna come out fucking. This is most likely where Floyd is gonna be headed. Like if there isn't anybody else who's gonna bring him that kind of money that he was getting before, like the Jake Pauls or whatever the fuck, right? He's probably gonna have to resort back to coming back to Rizin and a potential. I mean, wouldn't it be some shit if he had some sort of exhibition fight with Manny, but in an MMA fucking cage? That'd be something worth. I mean, people will pay money for that, I'm sure, especially over there in Japan. So, yeah. Between the two, though, I still think Floyd is smoking more crack.
In their professional career, Manny was rewarded with the fighter of the century. If Manny does go to MMA, he'll be rewarded with exhibition fighter of the century. Listen, somebody has to cross over to show these other fighters how much money the MMA world can generate on a special night. If Manny was to step over, and I don't care if he wins or loses, we just need someone to break the dam. We need someone to go over there. And Floyd he's almost always been second fiddle to everything that was huge in his era. Ricky Hatton might be the only guy that was a really huge fight. I mean, I know he had the Collazo smackdown, but he was still undefeated. Floyd got him. But all the other opponents, Floyd always came second to someone else beating them. Manny can beat him to the MMA. Look, Floyd wants to make $1 billion. Go sign a MMA fight. I didn't say a contract. I said a fight. Who gives a fuck if you lose or if you win? You're fucking Floyd Mayweather at like 43. You can get in shape. You still look good as you can still pull off. You're a young fighter. Or he's not in his over the age as far as looking wise. He could still pull it off, dude. The whole world would watch. The whole world would watch. You make $1 billion in one night. Why these guys won't do it? Nah, I don't know. Maybe they are a little bit nervous to getting taken down to the ground and smacked around. I don't know. But Manny Pacquiao should try to work a deal out where he shows Floyd just how much money can be made, because if you're not coming back to boxing and you need serious cash, you do have the MMA ticket. I think he can pull and make $1 billion.
Well, fun fact, randomly out of the blue this past week, Freddie Roach started smoking crack and actually brought up Manny's bad shoulder again, Andrew. Literally, we have not heard boo about this in forever. And it was in the past week with all these signings that Freddie Roach brought up the shoulder again.
Look, he's a hurt ex-trainer who's now bringing out injuries to try to kill Manny's comeback. It was a shoulder injury there. I don't know. They all have injuries, Lee. So it's probably there. I think it's just look. Freddie's gonna say he's watching out for Manny. That's why he's telling everyone don't support him. He's an injured guy fighting for, and they shouldn't be in there fighting. That's what Freddie's going to hide behind. Or maybe he's mad that Manny didn't call him and he's not riding it out with them. Who knows what the real answer is. But, most of the time you'll see trainers turn on their fighters when they're not asked to come back.
Let's check out some more crack smokers, shall we? This time it's Eddie Hearns. For whatever reason, Eddie Hearn is under the magical belief that Joshua is going to fight 3 times this year. This was all over. It was buzzing, right? So they want to fight once, then he wants to fight, Andy Ruiz, and then he wants to fight Deontay Wilder, all before the end of the year, right? One tune-up, then an Andy Ruiz level fighter, and then Deontay Wilder before the end of the year, in any various order. Which, by the way, I don't know if it's actual or not, but for Eddie Hearn to map out and milk out, it feels like he's smoking crack, Miguel.
Yes. I mean,
he doesn't even have a trainer.
Oh, really? Did he already left Garcia? He left? I thought he was still with
Garcia won't do it.
Oh, good Lord. Fucking hell. Because
Garcia has said twice in the past 2 weeks, too many outside distractions, too much entourage. He's not serious in the ring.
Yeah. Last I remember, he said he's willing to do it if he comes to, Oxnard or wherever the fuck they're at. Yeah, Jesus Christ, that's kind of a stretch. That's a bit of a leap going from like not having a trainer to saying, yes, not only do we not have a trainer, but once we get one, we're going to jump into 3 fights this year. Jesus, I guess, I don't know. I suppose he's, basically just trying to cash out on his, last few fights with this dude and basically saying like, all right, look, you only have a couple of more fights where you can make X amount of money. So I'm just going to throw you to the fucking deep end and just, get whatever's left out of you. And then we'll take you out back and pull a bullet in you and call it a career. So that's kind of what it sounds like. I can, knowing that Joshua, like as much as we do, obviously we don't know him personally, but from what we've seen, he seems like the kind of guy who would be down with that. I would think it would be Hearn who would say like, dude, no, don't be going that shit, like relax, motherfucker. But at this point, the fact that Tommy is now going in that direction and just being a yes man to him, it's like, oh, fuck it, go ahead. We're gonna cash you out. We're just gonna cash in our chips right now. Get your ass whoopers for the next 3 fights, and we'll be cool. And then you can go off and retire, and we can wring the last few bits of millions of dollars out of you.
Andrew, 3 fights for Joshua in 2023, or is Hearn smoking crack?
Yeah, no, he's definitely smoking crack. Unless I don't trust Joshua at all right now in his career. So yeah, we're gonna take this 1 fight at a time. How about that?
I don't disagree, especially without anyone who's willing to train him. The next crack smoker up on our agenda is Adrian Broner. Because everybody was so silent during the holidays, would you like me to give the highlights? Because I have followed Broner like a mental patient. I'll start with you, Andrew. My favorite was, I'm going to win this fight, and then my next fight's going to be a title fight, and then I'm going to unify all the titles in the 3rd fight, and then I'm going to retire, which, by the way, there are 3 different guys with titles at his weight class. But let's just go beyond that for a second. Let's just say magically he wins his next fight. He then fights for a single title in his 2nd fight. And then his 3rd fight, somehow that person has the rest of the titles before he retires. How much crack is Adrian Broner on, Andrew?
He definitely smokes crack, but he's like a working alcoholic. He can handle his crack. He's not that far off here. Look, Lee, if the BLK Entertainment is smart, they invested money into Adrian. He better win his first fight under them. That's terrible matchmaking if Broner can't win the first fight that he's under. One, you didn't talk the drive back into him when you signed him and gave him, I believe he said $8 million to fight. You didn't get the fire back in him to pull off a showcase fight. That's terrible on your part. Two, he's all you have for Terrence Crawford. His next fight being the belt is against Terrence Crawford. If I'm not mistaken, Terrence Crawford's the WBO welterweight champ still, correct?
Yes, as far as I understand, yes.
Yep. 100%.
So there's he's telling us right there. The stable only has one welterweight champion in their building. I'm guessing that's the guy he's fighting next as if he wins his showcase. So he's not far up. That's 2 fights he knows he has. And then you go back to Al Heyman. I mean, seriously, he beats Crawford in some miracle that happens. He's going back to Al Heyman with some big ammo. I mean, you're talking about now Al Heyman can make the Spence unification fight with an in-house fighter.
All right. Let me give you a secondary level of crack smoking. That's probably on day 3. That if he fights Floyd Mayweather, it will be the highest grossing fight of all time.
And now, see, this is when, you're like day 3, he hasn't slept, he hasn't ate. Now the delusions start kicking in, right? Yeah, totally see that. There's clouds in his urine at this point, bro. I'm like, come on. Yeah, pull it.
All right, Miguel, where do you want to start? Him becoming the undisputed champ, or the fact that he's going to gross the highest amount of money ever in Floyd Mayweather's career?
I'm not sure.
That's some serious crack smoking.
It is. I'm not sure which one is more delusional than which. I mean, maybe it'll be like the biggest fucking payday of his career if he fights, fucking Floyd in some sort of exhibition, but it certainly won't be. If I recall correctly, I remember him saying 100 million each. That's what I believe the number that he came up with out of nowhere. He just pulled it out of the fucking air. So definitely not that. I might have to go with like him thinking he can unify the division and be the undisputed champion. I mean, yes, I can see why the logic would probably land in that direction, saying, okay, well, we have Crawford here. He clearly thinks he can beat everybody. So he's like, well, I'm going to beat Crawford. And then at some point, I'm going to face, I'm not going to do what Crawford does. And I'm going to face fucking Spence and then unify the division. That's probably more far-fetched. I think right now it's the lesser of 2 evils. Like which one is the most illogical one? But the guy doesn't exactly, come across as somebody who's rational anyway. I'm gonna go with the fact that he can make 100 million off of fighting fucking Floyd, because at the very least there is a little bit of logic in that other scenario of him actually trying to unify the division because of the fact that Crawford is in that BLK, whatever the hell it's called, stable. So I don't know anybody who's going to be willing to fork up $100 million each for him and Floyd in some sort of whack ass exhibition bout. Man, that guy's, I don't know, he's broke as fuck. I don't know how the fuck he's affording it, but he's got himself some real good crack.
It's really good crack. Let's move forward to Jaron Ennis. We know what he did this weekend. We'll talk about it momentarily when we talk about a $75 pay-per-view card, which is so mind-boggling that I actually posted on Facebook, donate to the guy from the Buffalo Bills and go to VIP. I just give your money somewhere more important. We'll talk about that in a moment. But Jaron Ennis is somehow under the belief, Miguel, that he is the best fighter in the world, period. Let's exclude what he did this weekend because clearly he was not in his fight against a lesser opponent. What kind of crack do you have to smoke where you believe that you're the best fighter in the world?
Well, I mean, PBC, they're gonna write those fucking checks, right? So clearly he's got the kind of money to buy himself some good ass crack to think that he's legitimately out there. And here's the thing, there's no knock on him in the sense that he's getting there. the PBC is doing an excellent job of building him up slowly, right? Making him seem like the star, because we've talked about this before. PBC has got a pretty good formula when it comes to that. Whether or not they're legitimate or not is not really the point. It's the fact that the perception is that they're top-notch motherfuckers. So they're doing a fantastic job with Ennis. So I can see why in his own head he legitimately thinks that he is up there, that people are avoiding him, that he can beat somebody like fucking Spencer Crawford for that matter. But of course the name in his mouth is Spence because of the stable. So understandably, he's a young guy. If you watch how he like entered the arena, he had some badass fucking car. I think he was driving some sweet ass like Tesla. I don't know what the fuck it was. But and he comes out, and then he comes out with his big ass chains or whatever, right? The typical shit. As a matter of fact, even after his fight last night, they put the chains on him, immediately after the fight while they were announcing the decision. So he has to be that kind of flash type of guy, right? So if the PBC is signing these big ass checks for him, which apparently there are, and he's spending his money on this, and they're all around him saying, "Dude, you're the fucking shit," Spence is avoiding you, yada yada. Yes, of course he's going to believe it, especially when he's young and impressionable, just like everybody else. So I to some degree, I don't blame him, because he's going to be naive. He's going to be, because he's a young cat, he's just going to believe that shit. Because I mean, who else? You don't want to hear something else. You don't want to hear somebody else telling
Who's
you
he
like,
beat?
dude.
Who's
Yeah.
he beat?
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, he beat Lipinets, but even still, that's pretty much.
Okay. I'm going to say
that.
this again. If I win $1 billion on Tuesday, I'm making all three of us 30 and 29. And what does that mean? Does that mean we're entitled to an undisputed title shot, and we should be walking around going, Fight Net Radio's the only place where three people who talk about boxing are undefeated? It's strap season. Like, it's bullshit. It's legit bullshit. It's all bought.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Oh, and I'm definitely not denying that, because the guy's pretty, delusional himself. But I can't, to some degree, I can't blame him when he's got these kind of people around him making him think that he's hot shit. Of course he's gonna believe it, And on top of the fact they gave him some interim IBF belt last night or whatever the fuck it was, so now he has a strap on him for him to glow even further. So I mean, dude, sorry, you're not the best fighter in the world. You can think you are by all means, and you can say you are, but until you actually beat the best in the world, you're not. That's just how it is. So, great. Continue to think that way by all means. You're going to want to have that kind of confidence, but the reality is that currently you're not.
I think you have to fight Jean Pascal when it comes to the championship. It might get serious. It might get serious for the title for you, Miguel.
I see. Yeah, that might be.
On the other hand, I think we can cut Andrew. Is Enos out of his mind, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm going to say yes, because of the PBC's track record right now of creating stars. Look, if he's in love with the Teslas and the jewelry, more power to him. Al Heyman will be able to give him all of that with these little cards, these little paydays. I don't think he's making a lot of money. He's probably in a lot of debt, probably gets a lot of IOUs on a lot of the stuff that he's purchasing right now, because everyone thinks he's going to be the next big star. That's great. They're investing, whatever. Al Heyman hasn't built a Floyd Mayweather since Floyd Mayweather. And anyone who's involved in boxing knows that it was not Al Heyman who built Floyd Mayweather, but it was the matchmaking of Top Rank, and it was the matchmaking and the luxury of having De La Hoya promotional company in the early 2000s. It was Oscar's company that made Floyd Money Mayweather. It was not Al Heyman. It was not the PBC. Floyd, he acted like the big dog, but he never really was. It was Schaefer and De La Hoya running those shows back in the day. Now, he made a lot of money, and that's why it's really sad if Floyd loses all that money. But these other guys are not making Floyd Mayweather type money, yet they're trying to live a life of Floyd Mayweather. Ennis should look around and see that none of the welterweights make Floyd money. Spence can't even fucking get a major fight. Does anyone realize Spence didn't land the Pacquiao fight for whatever reason? He didn't land the Pacquiao fight, and he hasn't landed the Crawford fight. That's an absolute joke. As your team, whoever's running your team, who's ever putting your career together. What a fucking joke that at this point in your career, you don't have a major fight under your belt. You don't have a $20 million payday. There is no record-breaking pay-per-view numbers for him. And this guy was legit considered the man that was supposed to take over boxing at one point. It's been a total disaster. So if I'm Ennis, no, I'm not. You've got to be happy with what Miguel said, the cars and the jewelry. And if you're all right at just buying those, well, man, more, you have at it with the PBC. But
Andrew,
if you're trying to be
you have a higher net worth than Jaron Ennis.
If you're trying to be a legend, Al Heyman does not build legends. He has not shown us the ability of building a fucking superstar in boxing since Floyd Mayweather gave him the credit of being the almighty Al Heyman.
Can you cut to middleweight when I win the lotto?
Who, me or Andrew?
No, Andrew. I'm going to put you at light heavyweight. You're the biggest of us. I'm figuring I got to be somewhere in between. As Fight Net Radio dominates the world. By the way, Andrew, for the record, you have a higher net worth than Jaron Ennis, which is just ridiculous.
One time it was reported that Tank Davis bought a $500,000 necklace. That night he made like $250,000. Like they were buying the necklace was costing more than what they were actually making in their fight. Like come on, this shit. It's dumb.
It's kind of Don King like. Yeah, buy him a Tesla. What? Buy him a Tesla. He'll shut up.
What would be funny is if Al Heyman owned a jewelry store, right? The one he sends them to. Hey, that PBC's got a jewelry store right up the street. Why don't you go see those guys? They're pretty good guys down there.
Our next crack smoker, Nonito Donaire. Oh, Nonito. What happened at New Year's where everybody started smoking crack? Nonito's going to go to 115 and believes he's going to be a 5-division champion, Andrew. Why can't we get this guy to retire?
I thought he did retire in the last fight. It looked like
he's going to be the 115 undisputed champion now.
Yeah, that's I don't got nothing
crack.
On that one.
That's solid crack.
That's crack, yeah.
Miguel, does he have any shot at 115?
Well, yes. I don't want to like completely count him out because keep in mind he has fought at 115 before, right, in the past, right? He was actually the champion there, and then he eventually moved up to 118, and he had done it a couple of times. I forgot what weight class he was when he dropped back down to fight Fake Darcinian years ago, where he avenged his brother's loss. So he's right around the division, right? He's at 118 if I'm not mistaken when he fought anyway. So he's naturally the bigger dude. Now he is a bigger guy, right? He's going to be bigger. Keep in mind the 115ers like Estrada and Chocolatito, and those guys are small. Those guys aren't big. Not that Donito is big, but he's bigger. So what's the one thing that, generally speaking, that fighters lose at the last thing that they lose is their power. He still has the power. So I don't see it completely out of the question. I can see why he's thinking this. Again, I can see why he's smoking crack because he legitimately thinks he can get back down. He's a small guy, but I don't know if he can make 115 anymore, really. Like at his age, it's just he's going to really kill himself to do it. And if he thinks it's worth it to go back down and basically bully the smaller dudes, then, by all means have at it. But no, I don't. I think he's looking at how small these 115-pound dudes are, and it's like, what? I can whoop these guys' ass. I can outpower them. I still have the pop in the left hand. I can get through that, and completely, disregarding the fact these guys are smaller and technical and faster and whatnot, and these guys can get away a lot easier. But anyway, I think that's probably the direction that his mind is right now. He's thinking, I can bully these motherfuckers, I can get the belts off these guys, and I can do this once again and add something else to my legacy. Bad idea. At this age, I don't even know if he can make 115 again. Yes, it's only 3 pounds, but it's probably the hardest last 3 pounds to cut when you're cutting the weight. So yeah, he seems to be going that direction. I think that's his mentality. He can just bully these guys around, which is not a good idea.
Andrew, is crack a hell of a drug?
That one I can't tell you, Lee. I have children, and I'm not going there.
Well, let's check with the next person who's been smoking crack.
I know I'm from the Bay Area, and you think I done crack, but I never done crack, Lee. Sorry about that.
Well, let's move to Gervonta Davis, who entered Forget what he did this weekend. We'll cover it in a moment. Everyone take a breath. Gervonta Davis enters a no guilty plea. I'm pretty sure he did it, Andrew. I mean, there's no video, but I'm pretty sure he did.
Hey, listen, this is the only credit I'm going to give Gervonta Davis in that phone call is he's not in the background losing his shit, okay? There's no Gervonta yelling at her to drop the phone, hang up the phone, beating on a door. There's nothing. It's a girl making a phone call. She seems hysterical, yet there's nothing in the background. That's the only credit I got. It's a bad look. Look. It's a bad look to have any female call the cops and say that you're trying to kill them and your daughter or hurt them. I'll say hurt, but I do think she used the word kill.
Strong.
It's a bad look. It's also a bad look, Gervonta, to then tweet out how girls, baby mamas with an S, is always trying to get you in trouble by saying that you're beating on them. This is the second girl that made this phone call. You know, that's a bad look. So whatever Gervonta's doing, I don't know if he's losing his mind to the point where he's scaring these girls. You got to stop. You got to stop because, if you're ever on camera, they got 2 phone calls or 2 incidents now where 2 different women are saying that you're putting hands on them. And the judge isn't going to be nice to you if you ever get caught doing it in real life.
Miguel, meth or crack?
Unless you're Dana White.
It's Florida.
Unless you are white, and then
you're white, and then you just ignore it. Right. I'm not sure in Florida. Because they expect it there. The question is, Miguel, meth or crack?
You know, I think this has a special kind of influence. I'm gonna go with meth on this one. I don't think it was crack. I think it was meth. The fact that there was actually this is the second time. The first time, I believe, there was actually a video of him roughing up some chick at a baseball or basketball game or something like that, or he was basically like pulling her around and pulling her out of the gym or wherever the fuck they're at. So it's not like it's completely out of the question for him to do something like this. As I understand it, his wife or baby mama or whatever the fuck did come out and say like, hey, he was doing none of that. So at least that helped him. In addition to what Andrew was saying, where like you don't hear him in the background trying to break down the door or anything like that. I mean, let's be real. Let's look at fucking Tank. Look at his ass. He's tatted up the fucking ass. What kind of chick is he really going to fucking have, really? You know what I'm saying? He's gonna have hood chicks. Of course he's gonna have hood chicks. And what's gonna happen? Hood chicks are gonna fucking cause problems. That's just how it is. He's a hood dude, and he's gonna have hood chicks. It's not like can he do any better, really? You know, this is kind of shit that's expected. Come on now. So he's gonna have ratchet chicks on him. That's just how it is. But
does he have tattoos?
Look at he can barely fucking.
Are you trying to say that the baby mamas with an S, every single one has a tattoo somewhere?
I can guarantee you. Yes.
Miguel, like Thelma and Louise, buddy, I'm holding your hand over that cliff, buddy. Let's go.
I mean, look at him. He's running out of spaces to fucking tat his body at this point. And listen to the way he talks. The dude is a hood dude. That's just how it fucking is, right? So we know the kind of chicks he's going to be involved with. We understand it. But from what I understand, the chick flat out said like, hey, he didn't actually do this. So that's kind of his saving grace right now. I'm glad he enters the not guilty, because he probably didn't do anything this time. He probably did do something before, but this time he didn't. So hey, I guess the meth is really good down in Florida.
Miguel.
Yes.
Miguel, you're like my mother has always warned me about the boss like you.
Oh, yeah.
Get a tattoo. You get a tattoo, they don't want you. They're gonna find any way to get you out of my company. She used to tell me. That's why if you guys see, Andrew has no visible tattoo.
Hey, exactly. It's visible. And then look at this fucker. He has a damn shirt on. He's like in the Yakuza, for fuck's sake, of tats. It's like you see his fucking legs. He's running out of space to tattoo. He's gonna
definitely done prison time. When I look at Gervonta Davis, I think of San Quentin prison. No, I'm just
strangely, that's how I pick women. If you've got a neck tattoo that's right up the front gullet, and you're smoking, and you're above the age of 40, I'm your man. All right, so here's the question, Miguel. You are pre-designed for this question. Morghetto, Florida, Las Vegas.
Oh shit! I've
That's
never been.
tough, right?
I've never been to Florida. I've only read stuff of them, so it's hard for me
They're
to
pretty
even
strong.
make.
They make the
Are
news.
they?
They're
They do
pretty
make. I mean,
strong.
Florida's
they
pretty,
they make
yeah.
the news a lot more than Vegas, so I might have to go with Vegas. And I mean, I'm sorry, Florida. This one, I got to go that
When
I
direction.
when
don't
you're
know, the 2 DUIs and killing people before you lose your license, that's really strong action out of Vegas.
I mean, it is, but I mean, the fact that we don't hear Vegas that frequently on the the airwaves, the news, I should say, and Florida more often than not, we do. I mean, shit, when we hear something happen, we think, oh gosh, was it Florida? We're at that point now, so yeah, I'm gonna say probably Florida in this case.
I, I
Vegas
Mhm.
is the new, and you know what? It may be saying the new Florida is not even deserving, but
well,
they're
there's not
becoming
really
that, right?
meth, Andrew, but they do have everything else.
Yeah, yeah, they're becoming that. But Florida, you can't. They're the kings of fucking ghettoism. You can't beat Florida. Um,
Sadly, my daughter was asking me, when are you going back to Vegas so you're closer to me? I'm like, oh, fuck. Jeez. It's like jumping into a pond. Um, eek. All right, let's talk about more crack smokers. This time, it's Jaron Enos
Again.
boots again. He's better than everyone, including Terrence Crawford. All right, how much crack do you have to smoke, Andrew, to believe that you're better than Terrence Crawford?
yeah, no, and it's all fake. This is all fake news. They don't believe any of that. They're being told to say that to distract everyone from the Spence matchup, try to build something there. They've been trying that since last year. I believe they started this whole I can beat Terrence Crawford bullshit. Terrence Crawford is a pound for pound best fighter in the world. Ennis has done nothing to get a shot at that title. That you are a delusional ass fan. If you take this argument to a real boxing person, we all know it's Spence. Spence and Crawford are supposed to fight right now. Spence, because of his management team, is being held out of that fight. That's what people want to say. I'll run with it. As long as you're not saying it's Terrence Crawford's fucking fault, I'll run with it. But we all know Spence is kind of hiding behind Al Heyman too. Sorry, I gotta say it. What I heard you say is you wanted fucking horses, cows, and to ride off in the sunset. You never said you wanted to fight the best man in the world. The best man in the world has been in your division for I don't know over fucking 5 years, and you have not fought him. You're the one who's avoiding testing your own ability. You're scared to fight the best fighter in the world because you know in your heart and in your mind you cannot beat Terrence Crawford. So let me play bitch and hide behind Al Heyman. Ennis, he has no shot at Terrence Crawford. This is all a distraction. Ennis, he hasn't even gotten through the PBC stable. I'm sorry, Ennis. Al Heyman is going to pimp your ass like he's pimped everyone else. You'll have to fight all the PBC guys before you even think of fighting anyone out of that stable.
All right, Miguel, day 5 of your crack smoking. You now believe that you can beat Terrence Crawford, and you're the
Yeah.
best all-around fighter at welterweight.
Yeah, at day 5, no sleep. That's basically where he's going to, where his mind is going to go. Look, I can't. To some degree, I don't mind the fact that he believes this. Whether it's legitimate or not is irrelevant. The fact is, in his mind, he believes it. Great. Keep that shit to yourself. You know damn well that nobody else is gonna fucking believe your ass. You want to come out and say it and be like, I told y'all. If you actually do it, fantastic. Then fucking do it. But obviously, he's not gonna, at least not yet. So I don't like. I'm not gonna knock on the fact that he believes it because I'm sure he's got a lot of people around him anyway. So he's going to believe it. Fantastic. Keep that shit to yourself. We don't need to fucking hear it. We know damn well that you're light years away from potentially fighting any one of these fucking dudes, both Spence and Crawford. So at some point, I get what he's trying to say. He's basically throwing the bait out there, right? Earlier he said, fucking Spence. Now he's saying Crawford. He's just throwing the bait out there and see who fucking bites, really, at this point. But he's gonna get paid whatever he's gonna get paid while he gets through the PBC stable, right, and fight whoever the fuck and make a fuck ton of money, and then his ego is gonna get even bigger. He's gonna think he legitimately has a chance at either one of these guys. So I don't blame him. I don't. As in fact, I like the fact that he thinks he can beat him. Great. Obviously, nobody goes into a fucking fight saying like, oh, I don't think I could beat this guy. Obviously they're gonna go in there thinking he can actually beat him. So this far behind, of course, he's gonna believe that he actually has a legitimate shot at either one of these guys. But again, this is all talk. This is all myth or crack talk at this point. Until it actually happens, obviously you have accomplished absolutely nothing. So hey, let him say whatever the fuck he wants to say. The more attention we pay to these dumb fucking name dropping meth heads, then the more he's gonna believe that he actually has a legitimate shot. But yeah, no, absolutely not. He is absolutely not a better all-round fighter than Terrence Crawford. He's out of his fucking mind.
Lee?
No, Lee, did we lose you?
Oh, sorry. Let's move to Lopez Sr., my actual favorite over the holiday. So if you don't know the saga of Lopez Sr. and Jr., for those of you who don't know about Jr. is questioning his place in the universe. Mm-hmm. Lopez Sr. has basically said, we're going to beat Progress. Progress responded on social media, we. It's your son's ass that's going to be in the ring that I beat, not you, old man. All right, so Teddy Atlas has come out and said that Teofimo's regressed. Bob has been predominantly silent on the topic. I start with you, Miguel. I don't think Prograis is a great fight for him right now.
I agree. I mean, Prograis is not a great fight for him at any point, but definitely not now. Prograis is a tough dude, and we know what he can bring to the table. We know he can take a shot. We know he can, return the fire. So, in general, Prograis is a dangerous fighter for Lopez, but right now it is very dangerous. I think Lopez Jr., of course, is in a mental state right now. Oh, I mean, this was when did he fight? November, December? Or I forgot when he fought. But maybe he's come down from that wherever the fuck he was, that mental block that he was having, or that weird state that he was in that ring, in his most recent fight with what's his name, Sandor. But yeah, Prograis is a dangerous fighter.
Say it correctly, Sandor.
Sandor, at the roll the R's at the end. But yeah, I mean, it would be nice if they get the fight crack-a-lackin', right? But I mean, let's be honest. I think what's his name, Teofimo needs a confidence builder of a fight before he fights Prograis, because right now, if they were to jump into that fight right now, honestly, dude, it's gonna be bad for fucking Teofimo. Like, I don't think Teofimo has a chance if he goes in there the way he's thinking right now.
Are you buying in? Are you buying into he's regressing?
No. I mean, he's a young guy. He's gonna be. I mean, granted, maybe he's not progressing, but no. I mean, I don't think he's regressing by any stretch. No. Yeah, he's got himself. I mean, again, it's hard to look good against a guy like Sandor, right? He runs a lot. He backs up paddles a lot, and he counters very well. He even fucking dropped him. So he's one of those guys where it's difficult to look good against. So I think he's probably just questioning that, because I mean, he was supposed to fight. I think was a Pedraza, right? So yeah, I don't know what was. I think it was a month before the fight is when Pedraza backed out, or he got sick or got COVID or whatever the fuck it was. So yeah, he had to switch gears and go into somebody else that he wasn't necessarily prepping for, and it was a difficult opponent. So I think it's just the circumstances, really. I don't think it's really that he's regressing, because I mean, he's 26 or 25, I think he is still. So yeah, I mean, now I think it's jumping the gun a little bit. I think he's in that emotional state where he's like, holy fuck, what the fuck is going on, and everybody thinking he's already regressing. So no, I absolutely don't think that. Granted, he's kind of not progressing where you would like to see him progress when it comes to fighters in this stage of their careers. He hasn't gone that yet, but at the very least, he's not going backwards. So maybe that's just as bad. I don't know.
Andrew, would you like to jump in on the Prograis? By the way, Prograis has called out Shakur. He's called out Teofimo. He's called out Vasali. Prograis is begging for anyone to fight him.
Yeah.
He's the real deal. He would be the favorite in my eyes going in against Lopez fight right now because of all the reasons that Miguel just stated. So no, I think his power is real. I think he's had 10 straight knockouts. We had went over his record, something like that, 2 years worth of knocking people out, not being able to go to the distance. Some of them against excellent opponents. I think maybe it's Taylor was able to go the distance and beat him on decision, but everyone else he's stopped. So no, I like everything about Prograis. I don't know what's holding him back besides management. You know, boxing sometimes comes down to politics, and this is a kid that's been bounced around a little. Doesn't really have anyone backing him. Now with his record and his resume, though, you would think that Top Rank would give him another look. Have they signed him? Who is Prograis with Top Rank
Nope.
right now?
Nope.
No, as far as
No,
I understand,
he's not with anyone still.
So yeah, you would think someone would give this guy a second shot because he does seem like the real deal. So yeah, I'm totally in. As far as Lopez's father, we've said this for many times. It's not the first time we've said it. He's peaked as a trainer-dad relationship. He doesn't need to go away, but they need to bring someone else in at his age of 26 years old. He should be able to move on with another trainer and build a relationship to finish his career. He's young enough to do that. He has the talent. So I hope Lopez tries. The Lopez family try this. It shouldn't just be Teofimo's decision. His father should also grow up, look at what everybody's telling him, and take that into consideration on bringing in. You be the man and make the decision for your son. Say, hey, I want to bring in someone that's going to show us a little bit more. And if Teofimo says thanks, Dad, then you move forward. If he says no, Dad, I don't want to break our relationship. You're my guy. I'm riding you. We're riding till we die. Well, fuck it. You tried. Your son wants to ride with you until the wheels fall off. You guys go out there and handle it. But him as a dad should make that decision instead of really the public. Soon, the media is going to say this enough times to Teofimo that it's going to make the relationship awkward. Everyone's going to have an awkward relationship when they're in the meetings together doing the questions, when you're the fucking reporters that are writing and saying these stories about why he should leave his father.
There you go. And let's talk about honorable mention. It's available on @FightNet Radio on social media. And this goes to Steven Espinosa, who gets honorable mention for crack smoking when he tweeted last night at 5'9" Southpaw with over 400 amateur fights, the most experienced opponent Tank has faced in his career, coming off 2 consecutive upsets. Hector Luis Garcia is not to be underestimated. Good for you, Espinosa, for smoking crack on the night of the fight. And that'll lead us into Saturday night's fight. How much crack are we talking about here, Miguel, to try to sell us that the other Garcia is worthwhile at minus 1,800?
Oh, good Lord. Wow, I didn't realize it was that bad.
It was bad.
Jesus. Well, I mean, look, nobody knows who Garcia, or the majority of people didn't know who Garcia was. Only like a few handful of, hardcores would be familiar with him, particularly because of his most recent upset over Colbert some time ago. So that's one of the reasons why people thought, okay, and frankly, I mean, I thought too. I was like, you know what, this guy's an Olympian. He's probably the most experienced dude, right? That fucking Tank's been in the ring with, the most like seasoned, at least in amateurs. So I think to myself like, all right, well, maybe he does have a legitimate chance, right? Once we saw how like lukewarm, or once I saw how lukewarm he came out in those first 2 rounds, I was like, man, what the fuck? This is not going to go well. But I can see why, we thought that. I mean, there was no way I was going to pay $70 some odd for
$75. Let me say it one more time slowly for my own edification. $75. And in fact, I posted, where is it? On FightNet. Not That Garcia. I did a lot of Not That Garcia. Yeah. Oh, it's not here. Why am I not seeing it? Which is, I think I called it absolutely correctly. Google, here it is, $75.
Jeez.
Rarely do I say this. Google Front Row Sports and donate pay-per-view to Daymar. On its best day, this is a free fight.
Yeah, and the undercard. I mean, come on now. We had Andrade Boo Boo, who was poo poo. Basically couldn't fucking finish this Nicholson dude, right? And and if I'm not mistaken, I think Nicholson's trainer is Gervonta's trainer. I saw him in the corner there. And that went the distance. He dropped the dude once, right? And you would figure if he's the dude that he thinks Andrade, I'm saying if he's the guy that he says he is, he should have finished that fucking fight, but he didn't. Okay, so whatever. He went the full 12 rounds, right? Then another PBC prospect, this Rashidi Ellis dude, gets upset by his fucking opponent. Again, he's the heavy favorite, and it's not looking good, right? It's like, oh, goddamn, Andrade not looking that great for PBC. Another prospect of Rashidi, of PBC's Rashidi, gets upset. So it's like, man, this card is going down the fucking, down the tube real fast. And then, Jaron Enos, whatever, he comes out with an okay fight, right? He did get slapped around a little bit by his opponent, but ultimately he won handily. So it wasn't like he was ever in any real trouble, but he didn't exactly look spectacular by any stretch either. And then, the main event. So the pay-per-view card was absolutely not worth 70 some odd bucks. Shout out to VIP Sports. Thank you so much. I managed to catch it there without any problems. But man, I don't know if I definitely would agree with you. Donate to Demar, please, and not spend $75 on this shit. However, I will say this though, that arena did look pretty fucking packed. So it wasn't,
Yeah.
All right,
DC
all right.
area.
Can I
So,
cover this? Can I cover
sure,
this?
Sure, please.
So they sold 19,000 and change, right? The
Mhm.
fat man, Dan Rayfield, made a big deal about this. They called it a sellout. All right, so I looked it up. The arena, just the arena in a basketball stands holds 20,000 plus or minus. So they sold 19 and change. So that's not accounting for floor seats. Now, if you're asking me, was it about a 95% sellout? Yes. But to say it's 100% sellout is complete bullshit. It was not a you got turned away at the window moment. There were seats, they were available. And what pisses me off is Espinosa, along with Showtime, along with everyone else, it's a sellout. And it also leads me to believe that Dan Rayfield is now a shill for Showtime and PBC. But, I'm just a hater.
And if you want any more proof that the PBC lies about their numbers on their fighters, look at the Spence ordeal. He was unable to lock down.
I
the
mean,
fight
we could
Spence
bet right
because of
now.
money.
Do you think they sold more than 100,000 pay-per-views?
From what the social media looked like, no. Even the streaming, the person that I was watching the fight off of, he kept not apologizing, but like making excuses on why there wasn't a lot of people watching the fight. It was kind of, when I have the UFC on, I get a lot more views than this. I don't know. I'm gonna have to restart it. I'm gonna try to get some more views. And there was nobody fucking cared. I watched it. I didn't see a lot of people. I seen the regular ESPN, PBC, Showtime, though Gervonta Davis, they posted about it as far as him becoming hot news. Let me tell you like this. The Ryan Garcia fight has totally died down. Nobody exploded last night on the internet about the so-called matchup in April. Mm-hmm. I think we're waiting for tickets to go on sale before we believe this fight is actually taking place.
Ryan exploded. Ryan was all over social media.
Oh, Ryan was. No, Ryan was. But the fans.
He's the only
one. As far as this going viral, chat room. Oh, can't wait till April. Fight posters getting printed by Supreme Boxing or some of those other guys that do all the digital stuff for these dream matchups. You see none of that. And that's because we were told they haven't signed the contract. So, you know what? Tell me when tickets go on sale, and I'll believe Gervonta and his team. As of right now, they used Garcia's name to promote this Garcia pay-per-view fight. That's all I've seen so far. I haven't seen them sign any contract. They're selling wolf tickets. They're a joke right now.
Well, what did we learn from last night, Miguel?
That there was a lot of crack being sent around. A lot of crack being passed around. There's a lot of stuff. We don't even know if it's 100% crack or if it's already been watered down by the time it gets to these guys. But yeah, there's just a lot of it being passed around.
Andrew, did you learn anything from this car crash?
No, I'm afraid that Gervonta is leaning too much on his power nowadays. He's turning a lot into this counter puncher. I know he has speed. I get it. He's trying to set the guy up by, letting him land a few shots and then he counters and stings him. I get it. I see the game plan. The problem is you're doing that with B-level fighters. You get a good trainer that sees through, like Guzin, that sees through your bullshit of taking shots, trying to land one, and hopefully in the 8th, 9th, 10th round he breaks you down and knocks you out. You're gonna get outboxed. That's not a good game plan when you go up against the elite boxers, these elite trainers that know how to work a game plan. So I seen Davis do a lot of that last night. I had him down just by watching the fight. I was also confident that I was scoring it right when Showtime had him down. The guy that was watching the fight streaming had him down. Like, everybody could clearly see that Gervonta was letting this nobody. You know what I knew the fight was bullshit? When they announced the tail of the tape, 31 years of age, and he has 16 pro fights. What the fuck? What is this guy fight once every 3 years, twice every 3 years? What is going on? How can you only have 16 fights and you're 31 years old and I'm supposed to take you as a serious contender? This is stupid. The fight is a total bogus fight. And then you go in there and you're getting outworked. You're letting this guy land 4-1 because that's what was happening. They weren't hard shots. He wasn't breaking the foundation of Gervonta, but he's outworking him. He's punching. You're not. When you do, it's only one shot. It's boring. Garcia, Ryan, I'm talking about. Well, he hasn't shown to be light on his feet. He's young enough where Guzin can say, if you trust me, we can beat him. And then teach him the game style that your one punch is not going to get it done. You can't just think you're constantly going to go into the ring, hit someone a few times, and they're all going to fall. That's what, unfortunately, you keep feeding Gervonta Davis these PBC B-rated fighter, which they all were. They've all been PBC fed nobodies. He's going to believe his own bullshit and get beat in a real big fight.
And you know what? I was listening to, so a couple of times my feed kind of got stuck, so I ended up going to a different link, and then I'm going to like a different link where I had the PBC announcers, the Ray Flores, and as a matter of fact his brother Miguel Flores, and they were the commentators. And at the very end of the fight, like towards the end,
The worst.
they were pretty bad, yeah. They made a statement that basically they made as much as they meant to be like positive, right? They basically said that Gervonta Davis is like the Deontay Wilder of the lightweights, right? Pretty much like the dude has got power, yada yada. He can turn your lights out, yada yada yada. But I think they're right in the sense that I think he's just depending on his power. Like that is really what he's doing now. He's depending on that one fucking shot. So I'm sure that's not how they meant it, but that's pretty much how it. They actually are right. Like Gervonta is literally just depending on that fucking power, and
he can take a punch and he can throw a punch.
Exactly, and
that's all this
punches.
is about.
He's
his ability to take a punch.
Yeah, and willingness to eat them to get inside it, and because even going back to the fight with fucking with Santa Cruz, which is like Halloween of several years ago, like he was basically losing, you know what I'm saying? Like he was waiting for that fucking fight, for that power shot, and he got it. So thankfully, up until now, at least his power has been able to bail him out the way it has bailed out Wilder. But like at some point, it's not going to. Like he is going to face his Tyson Fury at some point in the very near future if he continues down this path of just like depending on that power, because you can't let your fucking B-level opponent back you up. You can't let him outwork you. Like no, like at this point you should be running over his fucking ass. And again, yes, Garcia is an Olympian, so it's not like he's not some a newbie or anything like that. He's a seasoned guy, so the guy knows what the fuck he's doing. And again, to Tank's credit, to not be that critical, he did do it. He depended on the power and he came through again, but it's gonna run out. At some point, he's not gonna be able to land that fucking shot, and the fight 12 rounds go by and he's like, oh shit. And of course he's going to realize that hopefully he doesn't get to that point, hopefully he can see it before then. And we have a kind of, if he does fight Ryan in the near future, we have these two guys that meet in the center of the ring and go at it. But if that doesn't, then he's going to basically, shit. all last night, me and my dad were saying like, okay, what the fuck? We think Tank can fucking beat Ryan, right? It's like Ryan, he's not good at southpaws. He can probably take, he can't take Gervonta's pop. But after seeing last night, it's like, what the fuck? Like I think Ryan could beat this dude. Like the way he was fighting here, like damn, what the fuck? Like really, am I saying this? Ryan can beat this motherfucker. So yeah, he's depending on that power way too much, and at some point he's gonna end up paying for it.
One more, Lee. In boxing, they say it's chess, not checkers. Mm-hmm. The way that Gervonta is starting to fight, he's making it look like checkers, and that's not good. It's not. You don't walk through everybody. You don't land one shot, and it all comes together. You are doing this against lesser opponents. When you get up to the higher rankings, the guys that know how to fight, that know how to play fucking chess in that ring, and even Teofimo Lopez is one of those guys. You get into those kind of fights, Josh Taylor's, they're gonna dance circles around you, man. They're not gonna be there for your one fucking counter. Yeah, you're fast, but they already know it's coming. That's all you do. So, yeah, his stock drops every time they put him in the ring with one of these nobodies, and maybe not in the PBC world, but definitely in the real boxing world where the trainers and the real fight fans are fucking watching and talking about the technical side of the sport. Gervonta is looking real one-dimensional right now. He was down on the scorecards against a very lesser opponent last night, a guy that should not have been ahead on the scorecards at all. And seriously, almost every single fight, it's the same story. He's behind on points. He's not, he's a tank. He's a tank. Whatever. Yeah, I'm starting to lean. I'll put my money on Ryan, man. Ryan, he can jab, he can throw the outside punches, he's got fast hands, and then you just move. You get out because he's only coming once. Just move.
He's got height, he's got reach. If he can use that, I mean that in and of itself is already an advantage. Now seeing how the plan that Gervonta has had for the last few fights, it's looking like it's tilting more in, at least in my opinion, and even fucking my dad's. Like, I mean, we're not big fans of Ryan's in this house. I don't know if you'd realize that, but we're not big fans. It's like, what the fuck, my dad's like, he's just another fucking De La Hoya without the credentials, basically. That's pretty much what he calls, Ryan. But then after last night, we're like, dude, what the fuck, Ryan beats this motherfucker, and we're like, what the hell, like we did not have that train of thought prior to last night and even before. But yeah, I don't know. It sucks that he's going in this direction, and we would hope that corrects itself, or that he corrects it. But as long as PBC continues to feed him these kind of B-level guys, and that he can depend on his power on, once he steps out of that, he's in deep trouble.
Everyone's smoking crack. Everyone has been smoking crack this past week. They brought the 90s back to life. Miguel, would you like to talk about the hottest meme on the internet? The man who believed he was supposed to be Virgil, Boots, and Bud.
Yeah, he ran out of gas. He was doing fine in the beginning of the fight, especially like the first 3 quarters of the fight. Basically, it was really the last quarter that he started to like really lose steam. It was obvious that he was better than his opponent, than Villa. He was faster than Villa. He was able to get out of the way, but he did a lot of backpedaling, right? And his legs eventually just ran out on him, basically. But hey, this is what happens. Ennis, if you're watching, if you're listening, this is what happens, bro. You think you can fucking beat these guys, and then you face a dude who's probably some unheralded no name, and he ends up fucking handing your ass to you. So just watch your mouth. Be a little bit more humble. Just saying.
He's gonna be a meme forever.
Dude, that left hook damn near lifted him off the fucking floor. He damn near lifted him off the floor with that fucking left hook. But anyway.
Hey, go to boxingtonight.io, check out our shows, click on any of the links, download us, follow us. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Oh, yeah. Happy New Year, everyone. We're back for another season. They can't get rid of us, Andrew. Strangely, we're getting bigger again. God help us. God help us if people listen to us. Please go to boxingtonight.io, support the page, click on any of the links. We don't have any of those crappy pop-up ads. You can find all the shows. You can find links to all the news. We appreciate every single one of you. We look forward to providing you with great boxing entertainment, as much as it pains me, for the coming year. Thanks, everyone.